Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed. A poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools, movie stars.
The Beverly Hillbilly.
Before Jethro comes down to breakfast, he'll eat 'em raw, shells and all.
Hey, looky here, Granny. Somebody done sent us a telegram.
Don't open it, Jed. It's bad news.
How do you know?
Telegrams is always bad news. Somebody's passed on.
I think we gotta open it.
Please don't, Jed. There's been a death in the family. I just know it.
Now you're jumping to conclusions.
You mark my words. It won't be long until old Duke will commence to howling. And you know what that means.
Any howling around here will be done when Jethro comes down and finds out his breakfast ain't ready.
How can he think about food at a time like this, when there's a death in the family?
Telegram don't have to mean that. Now I'm going to open it.
I ain't gonna listen.
Well, doggies. It's from Llewellyn Aiden in Monroe, Louisiana.
Why, that's that little girl that Jethro used to tote her books back home.
I thought you wasn't going to listen.
Can I help it if I got ears like a hawk?
Well, anyway, Llewellyn says she is coming to California. In fact, she's flying in this morning.
What for?
Well, she says she's finally going to take the big step, and she can't wait to see Jethro.
I wonder what she means by the big step.
Dog if I know.
Morning, everybody. Where's Riddle?
I'll commence fixing breakfast right away.
Thank you, Granny.
Jethro, you recollect a little girl back home named Llewellyn Aiden?
Llewellyn Aiden.
Yeah, she moved down to Louisiana about the time we come out here to California.
Llewellyn Aiden.
You used to tote her books to school.
Oh, yeah. I used to call her Cupcake.
Cupcake?
Sweetest thing I ever put my lips to.
Llewellyn was, huh?
No, the cupcake she used to tote to school in her lunchbox. Quick as I was done eating my lunch, she'd give me what was left of hers.
She liked you, huh?
Yeah. I was crazy about her, too. First time I ever really fell in love.
With Llewellyn?
No, with her cupcakes. They was molasses cupcakes with marshmallow icing.
Well, how did you feel about Llewellyn?
I liked her fine. Why?
Well, in her telegram here, she says she is coming to California this morning. She can't wait to see you. And she is finally going to take the big step.
I wonder what she means by that.
That's what your granny and me was trying to figure out. You ever proposed to her?
You mean marriage?
Yeah, did you ever ask her to marry you?
Oh, gosh. I remember. I'd give her a ring.
Engagement ring?
Well, I don't know. We was walking home from school, and I seen this here horseshoe nail lying on the road. So I picked it up with my toes.
Showing off, huh?
Yeah. Well, anyways, I bent it into a ring, and I slipped it on her finger.
Was it by any chance the third finger of her left hand?
Yeah, it was. And then I kissed her.
You did, huh?
Yeah, there was still some icing left on her lips.
Now, Jethro, think hard. Try to recollect everything you said to her on the day you put the ring on her finger.
Okay, well, let me think.
Did you ask her to wait for you?
Yep, that's exactly what I said. I said, Llewellyn, you wait for me.
You recollect anything else you said?
Well, when we got to her house, I says, sweetheart, I says, someday you and me is going to share everything together.
Jethro, it looks to me like you was facing a wedding.
I am?
Yeah, well, figure it out for yourself. You put a ring on her engagement finger. You kissed her. You asked her to wait for you, and you said someday you and her was going to share everything.
Yeah, well, when I said share everything, I meant everything in her lunchbox, not just the cupcakes.
Maybe that's what you meant, but I don't think that's the way she took it. Boy, you was just a handful of rice away from being a married man.
Jed, I can't marry no little old hillbilly girl like Lou Ellen Aiden.
Why not?
Because I'm a sophisticated playboy, a member of the international jet set. Why, if I was to walk into that palace in Monaco with that little old hayseed, why, Princess Grace and Prince Reindeer would throw me out.
Well, don't go to see Princess Grace and Prince Reindeer.
Uncle Jed, ask me to give up polo. Ask me to give up skiing in the Alps. But don't ask me to give up my friends.
Did you all figure out what Llewellyn meant by that telegram?
Yeah, Granny. Appears like she's coming out here to marry Jethro.
She's got to find me first.
Jed, he left without eating.
No question about it, the boy panicked.
Well, let's sit down and eat. If we share Jethro's breakfast, we'll still have enough left over for lunch and supper.
Rusty, please. I'm having enough trouble trying to learn typewriting without you grabbing for the keys.
Well, Elly, time to head for the bank and your first day as a working girl.
Miss Jane, I'm afraid I'll never learn to type as good as you.
Oh, don't let that concern you. There are other things you can do.
Well, I'll try the best I know how.
Your very presence among us will ensure the rest of us girls decent treatment from old Grump Grub.
Who?
Mr. Drysdale.
Bye, Rusty. Bye, world. See y'all after work.
Elly, are that cat and that rooster compatible?
Oh, no. They gets along just fine.
Oh, no. Good. Good. Jane Hathaway here. Oh, hello, Mr. Clappett.
Miss Jane, I sure do hate to bother you, but there's a friend of ours arriving at the airport directly, and Jethro ain't around to meet her.
Well, suppose Elly and I meet her.
That'd be dandy. I'm sure Elliot recognized her. They was youngins together.
Llewellyn Aiden, flight number 5 from Monroe, Louisiana, 9:30 a.m. We'll be there.
I sure do appreciate it. I'll call Mr. Drysdale and tell him you'll be late. Bye.
Bye.
Jed, me and old Duke has searched this place from the front gate to the root cellar.
No sign of Jethro?
Not a hide nor hair. And the truck is gone, too. But he left this note.
What does it say?
It says he ain't gonna marry no freckle-faced, barefoot hick. And he ain't coming home until she's gone.
This is going to be a mite awkward to explain to Llewellyn.
You call her up and tell her not to come.
Too late for that now, Granny. Miss Jane and Ellie Mae is on the way to the airport to meet her now.
Jed, maybe you can't hold a boy to an engagement made when he was in the 2nd grade.
I wouldn't count on it, Granny. Jethro was 14 at the time.
Well, Llewellyn, what do you think of the club at home?
I declare, it's as big as the Capitol building in Baton Rouge.
Yes, it's quite imposing.
I thought you was fetching home little Llewellyn. Where is she?
I'm Llewellyn.
No.
Yes'm, Granny. This is her.
Well, welcome to California, Llewellyn.
Thank you, sir.
Land sakes, child. What's happened to your pigtails and your freckles? And look, Jed, she's wearing shoes.
Of course she is, Granny. She's a grown-up girl now.
I can't get over how she's changed.
I kind of like it myself.
Well, come on inside, everybody. I've got some fresh coffee and sassafras tea you're brewing.
Oh, thanks, Granny, but I think Elly and I better get to the bank as quickly as possible.
Good luck with your new job, Elly Mae.
Oh, thank you, Llewellyn. See you later.
I'll tote your things upstairs, Llewellyn.
I really didn't intend to move in on you like this, but Elly insisted you'd want me to.
And she was right, honey.
She was, for a fact. We're proud to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Clanford.
Would you like to come out to the kitchen and have a cup of coffee or some tea?
Yes, I'd like that. Is Jethro here?
No. I was afraid you was going to ask that. You better come over and sit down, honey. I got some bad news for you.
Has something happened to Jethro?
Oh, no. He's the same as ever. Of course, in a way. I guess that's bad news right there. Well, Ellen, we knows why you come to California.
Oh, good. I didn't explain too much in my telegram.
You didn't have to. We put 2 and 2 together. Llewellyn, we knows that you and Jethro was quite close as young'uns back home.
Yes, ma'am. He used to carry my books to school every day.
And he was quite sweet on you, too, wasn't he?
Yes, ma'am. He carved a heart in the tree in front of my house. And inside the heart he carved, Jethro loves C.C.
C.C.
Cupcake. That was his pet name for me.
What are you girls talking about?
I'm trying to tell Llewellyn the bad news about Jethro.
Well, I think the easiest way is just to come right out and say it.
Suppose you do it.
All right. Llewellyn,
Yes, Mr. Clampett?
I see you're still wearing that horseshoe nail ring Jethro gave you.
Yes. He's the only boy I've ever let put a ring on my finger.
Llewellyn,
Yes, Mr. Clampett?
did you have a nice trip out here from Louisiana?
Just wonderful.
Did you hear that, Granny? She had a wonderful trip out from Louisiana.
Get to the point, Jed.
Llewellyn,
Yes, Mr. Clampett?
you sure did turn out pretty.
Thank you, sir.
Jed.
All right, Granny, all right. I'm coming to it. Llewellyn,
Yes, Mr. Clampett?
you recollect the day Jethro put that ring on your finger?
Yes, I do.
You recollect him kissing you?
I do.
You recollect him asking you to wait for him?
I do.
You recollect him saying that one day you would share everything?
I do.
I don't know, I wish you'd stop saying I do. You're making me awful nervous.
Me too.
What are you nervous about?
Llewellyn,
Yes, Mr. Clampett?
how's your family?
I can't stand any more of this. Now are you going to tell her that Jethro has jilted her, or am I?
Granny, I think you just did. But I'll share the burden. Llewellyn, Jethro don't want to marry you.
I'm glad to hear that, because I certainly don't want to marry him.
You don't want to marry Jethro?
No, indeed. He's a nice boy, but the girl who marries him will spend the rest of her life in the kitchen.
Well, speaking of kitchen, why don't we all go out there and get us something to eat?
In that telegram that you sent us saying that you was coming to California to take the big step, if it ain't marriage, what is it?
Show business. I hope to be an actress.
Did you hear that, Jed? She don't want Jethro. She wants to act. Ain't that wonderful?
It is for a fact. And Llewellyn,
Yes, Mr. Clampett?
if you're as smart about acting as you are about men, you got it made.
Oh, good morning, Chief. I'm sorry I'm a little late.
A little late? You are 1 hour and 30 minutes late.
Well, didn't Mr. Clampett call you?
So what? Do you think a phone call from Jed Clampett is going to change the rules of this bank? Do you think the mention of his name is going to get you off the hook? Well, if that's the way you think, young lady, you are absolutely right. I adore every member of that Clampett family. They're the most wonderful people in the world. Elly, I didn't see you. Oh, you look so beautiful. What brings you here?
Well, I work here now, Mr. Drysdale. This here's my first day.
Oh, so it is, so it is. I forgot. Well, welcome aboard. How are things going?
Oh, just fine.
Oh, wonderful. Now you can take the rest of the day off.
Well, I just got here.
Have you had breakfast?
Oh, no, sir, we didn't have time.
Well, come with me and I'll buy you the best breakfast you have ever had.
Oh, thank you. Come on, Miss Jane.
No, Elly, dear. Miss Hathaway must stay and catch up on her work.
Well, I'll stay and help her.
Oh, aren't you hungry?
Oh, yes, sir, I sure am. So is Miss Jane.
Who are you calling?
My pa. He won't let us go hungry. He'll fetch us something to eat. Howdy, Pa. This here's Elly.
Hello, Mr. Clampett. This is your friendly banker. Oh, I'm so delighted to have your beautiful daughter as an employee. I'm going to celebrate my good luck by taking her and Miss Hathaway to breakfast. Goodbye. Ah, come, lovely ladies. This is on me. Bon appetit.
Oh, Elly May, I can't tell you what a joy it is to have you working here.
I'll help with the dishes.
You'll do no such thing. You're here to get into the show business. And movie stars don't wash dishes.
I'm a long way from being a movie star, Granny.
Seems to me you're on the way, Llewellyn. You won a beauty contest at that big television station.
Yeah. Station
KNOE-TV in Monroe, Louisiana.
Yeah.
That ought to get you in pictures right there.
I'm afraid it takes more than that to open the doors to a movie studio.
Jed, I'll bet you Mr. Drysdale could help her.
He could for a fact. He's a banker, Llewellyn. He does what you call finances a lot of pictures.
Oh, I'd love to meet him.
Well, no sooner said than done. I'll take you right down there and introduce you.
Oh, wonderful. Just let me change my dress and put on a new face.
You can change your dress, honey. But if I was you, I'd keep that face.
Yeah, you can't beat that. Hello, Jed Clampett speaking. Oh, hello, Jethro. Yeah, Llewellyn's right here.
Can I speak to him?
Hold on, Llewellyn wants to talk to you.
Hi, Jethro. Hello? Hello? He hung up.
Well, he probably thinks you're still out here to marry him.
Now you two skedaddle on down to the bank. And you bring Elly May and Miss Jane and Mr. Drysdale home for supper.
We'll do it, Granny.
Good.
Who do you think you are, Arnold the pig? How can you eat so much and stay so skinny?
But Chief, all I had were 2 poached eggs.
You didn't poach them. I had to pay for them.
Oh, Chief, really?
And did you have to order ham? Don't you realize you violated a religious law by eating ham?
I am not of that faith.
Join it. That stuff's expensive. Hold it, Hathaway. I'm not through with you.
What now?
Now, you take that dumb hillbilly blonde to the secretarial pool and teach her how to type.
But you said that wasn't important.
That's what I said to her. To you, I'm saying if she doesn't type by tonight, her salary's coming out of your salary. And one other thing. If this maple syrup stain doesn't come out of this suit, you're going to have to pay the cleaning bill.
That wasn't my fault. You flew into a rage when the waitress gave you the check.
You could have grabbed it.
Well, I wish I had. It would have prevented an ugly scene.
Out, out!
Miss Jane? Elly May? They must be out on what you call a coffee break. We go in and talk to Mr. Drysdale.
Mr. Clampett, do you really think he can get me a job in movies?
A girl as sweet and pretty as you, it's a lead pipe cinch. Come on. Mr. Drysdale? He appears to be out, too. You sit down here and make yourself comfortable. I'll go see can I find him.
What are you doing here?
Oh, you scared me.
Big deal. Who are you?
I'm Llewellyn Aiden from down in Monroe, Louisiana. Are you Mr. Drysdale?
So what if I am?
I was told you could help me get a job.
Can you type?
No, sir.
Can you take dictation?
No, sir.
Know anything about bookkeeping or accounting?
No, sir.
Can you program a computer?
No, sir.
Can you foreclose a mortgage?
No, sir.
Can you get a maple syrup stain out of my jacket?
No, sir.
You're just what I need. Another dumb hillbilly blonde, not a brain in your head. Now, why don't you go back to Louisiana, throw yourself in a bayou, and feed yourself to the alligators? Go ahead, cry. Blow your head off. See what it gets you.
Ellen, darling, what happened? How come you to be crying like this? Didn't you tell Mr. Drysdale you come out here to be an actress?
She didn't have to tell me, Mr. Clampett. But the moment I saw her, I knew she was a born actress. So immediately, I started to test her. I did the famous shouting scene from The Bride of Frankenstein. And she passed the test with flying colors. Oh, look at those tears. Garbo couldn't shed them any better. This girl is a natural, one of the most gifted actresses of our time. I predict stardom for this lovely, talented young lady.
Well, doggy, did you hear that, Llewellyn? I told you Mr. Drysdale could help you.
Help her? I will dedicate myself to her career. Llewellyn, my dear, who would you like to do your screen test with? Paul Newman? Steve McQueen?
Whoever you think is best, Mr. Drysdale. What studio do you figure she ought to work for?
Let them compete for her services. Let them bid against one another. An actress like Llewellyn Aden comes along once in a lifetime.
We leave everything to you, Mr. Drysdale. Now I think I'd best get this little girl home. She's plumb wore out from all the acting she's been doing.
This day will go down in motion picture history. For today, a star is born. The Academy Award is but one performance away.
We's obliged to you, Mr. Drysdale, and Llewellyn will thank you proper quick as she pulls herself together.
I know what you're capable of, Llewellyn. And mark my words, one of these nights, you'll be taking that famous fellow Oscar home with you.
Mr. Drysdale, I've known Llewellyn all her life, and she ain't that kind of girl. Well, Llewellyn, looks like you're on your way.
I don't know how to thank you, Mr. Clampett.
Shucks, if Mr. Drysdale done it. Ted Clampett speaking. Jethro? Yeah, she's still here.
Let me tell him the news.
Hold on, Llewellyn's got something to tell you.
Jethro, I'm ready to take that big step. Hello? Hello? He hung up again.
Well, you're back. How did it go?
Granny, it looks like we got ourselves a little movie star here.
Ain't that wonderful?
Well, I haven't made my screen test yet.
Mr. Drysdale says he can get her a big star like Steve McQueen.
Oh, I hope he does. He's my favorite.
You promised her a screen test?
Right, we'll film it right here in the office tomorrow morning.
Oh, you're joking.
Oh, no. You'll be here wearing wardrobe and full makeup at 9 o'clock.
Me? In wardrobe and makeup?
Right. And you better look like Steve McQueen.
Well, now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now. Here.
This has been a Filmways presentation.